fun experience. Thought I'd never be in handcuffs and an orange suit.
Have close to 140 students that are participating today.
I didn't think it was going to be that intensive.
Truth and Consequences, The Choice is Yours is really an enrichment event to help students learn more about the consequences of substance abuse. So we want students to participate in scenarios that force them to look at the legal, emotional, financial, and health consequences of getting involved in substances.
You're given a scenario for each child. Every scenario is different. I had one that had stolen a prescription pad, so we had to go to the pharmacist, then we had to go to the law enforcement.
And if we can educate our young people and help them to make the right choices to begin with, then we can go a long way toward improving their lives as well as all our lives in our communities.
So this program, it is making a huge impact on our county.
Really woke you up.
It's really not meant to be a scare tactic for those students. It's really meant to give them a first-hand look at the reality of the situation.
Some people don't ever think about what they're doing. And if something like my scenario and they did get caught, it would ruin them, everything that they've got. And I think this is a wonderful experience that we have been able to be part of.
We really rely heavily on our law enforcement partners to help us think about a scenario that's really happened recently in our community or something that they've seen more an increased incidence of.
Probably one of the best programs that's came along in a long, long time since I've been in law enforcement.
Teachers teach us wonderful things, but it's an actual law enforcer that I was talking to.
How old are you?
And it makes me think, like, if I did do something like this, I'm going to be in the back of his car. It put things in a lot more perspective than I would have thought it would have.
That's why we really want the parent or a volunteer parent to accompany the student, because the impact is more than on the individual themselves, on that particular student. It affects their family, it affects people around them, and so we want them to be able to see both the immediate and the long-term consequences of any choice they make in regards to substance abuse, whether that's alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, heroin, prescription drugs, or whatever the substance might be. But these community partners are a vital part of this program. They are willing to spend their day with these students, talking to them on this side of the choice.
It's well worth the time. The community partners and the leaders come and donate our time to try to talk to these children about what we see, and myself, what I see and experience in the courtroom every week, and hopefully have some impact on them so that they don't make those decisions that would cause them to actually end up in a courtroom.
It makes me want to think more about what I'm doing before I do it.
You know, we started very early on trying to monitor any changes that we might see in the number of youth DUI arrests, and in the number of overdoses were very heavy for us when we first started the program. You know, and we also look at our KIP data, the Kentucky Incentives for Prevention data each year, and we have seen very measurable changes in what students are telling us about their association with substances and the knowledge that they have about the risk and harm associated with using substances too.
Smoking rates have dropped dramatically. Our smokeless tobacco rates are dropping. Our drug and alcohol abuse is dropping. And it's just because of the collaboration that we have.
I think it's just wonderful for us to know that nearly 10 years into this, we're still seeing measurable success with our program.
We would not be the district that we are today without the Extension Office.
I just hope that because it's not a typical programming area for a lot of county extension offices, I just hope that it really helps each county office enhance the partnerships that they have with others who maybe are a bit more knowledgeable in substance abuse prevention. And this is not going to solve any community substance abuse issue, but it's a great first-hand reality check about the impact of substance abuse. And so I just hope it's another tool that communities can use to strengthen what's happening as they interact with their youth.
I think this should be required in all counties, because if we are going to stop this horrible cycle of drug addiction and dependency that we have all across our Commonwealth and all across the country, we have to start when these people are young.
Sometimes we avoid substance abuse education and prevention efforts because we know that we just can't solve it all. But in my mind, it's a starting place. We have to begin our work. It's something that we can't just put our head in the sand and ignore and pretend that these things aren't happening among our youth. And so, I mean, I hope that it's just something that we continue to see support for, you know, throughout the state.
And if you want to head off problems in the future, you start today.